Hello, how's you guys? So we gonna go into how secret agencies work. So first, it's really yes, I think so. It's midnight. Maybe I can say good evening to you guys. How's you guys? So we're gonna start how the game begins. Okay. So suppose you are in the Paris, France, right? It's a really deep night. Perhaps it's like 2 a.m. The cobblestone streets are wet, reflecting the city's yellow neon in the shimmering, distorted ribbons, and the air is cold and quiet, quiet, and except for insistent drumming uh, of the rain. Imagine yourself inside a tiny, nondescript cafe. The kind of place you would never remember visiting. Sitting there is a man we call them shadow breakers. Okay, he's wearing an off-the-rack gray suit, blending perfectly with the shadows. He looks unremarkable, satisfied design. This world, the key to power is anonymity. Across the street, a woman in a courier emerges from a dark alley. She carries a small black leather briefcase. They do not wave. They do not make any eye contact. Their eyes are constantly sweeping, checking the tops, checking the windows, checking the car mirrors. Every reflection is a potential threat. He slides something tiny across the scared wooden table, a flash drive, probably bigger than his thumb. The entire exchange takes 3 seconds. A moment later, after the exchange is complete, you hear it in click. What's the sound of the tourist camera? A drunk person falling on the pavement? Or was it them? The counter surveillance unit for the other side. The sound of a trap closing. For too long, we believe the world is owned by the people who stand in the light, presidents, prime ministers, CEOs. But what if the real history is written by the people you never seen? What if every major event, every coup, every shift in the power, every sudden revolution were merely the effect of a invisible cause? There are not armies. There are not the politicians you vote for. There are the intelligence agencies, right? They are the shadow governments. They control the game. So here we can talk about who are the 7 key players. We will investigate them. There are the major powers on the world's silent chessboard. It's America CIA, the Covert Action Specialist, Russian KGB and FSB, the master of deep deception and internal fear, Israel's Mossad, the relentless arm of the national survival, and the UK MI6, the silent master of the strategic deception, and the France DGSE, the programmatic protectors of the national interest and the economic power. India's raw, the rising force focused on the regional dominance. China's MSS, the silent dragon, waging a war for technical and economic supremacy. So we gonna deep dive in the tradecraft. Clandestine versus covert operation. What are they? How we can see which one is a clandestine and which one is covert, right? So we gonna dip into the dive. The rule 1, the goal is information. The entire purpose is to collect the secrets that let your company make better decisions than its enemies. Rule 2, clandestine was required. This is spy most essential difference. Clandestine means hiding the ACT itself. The goal is to no one ever know the secret that ever occurred. Imagine a spy sneaking into a general's office, taking a picture of the document and leaving. The general never knows. The secret left the room. It's hidden. Covert. Covert means hiding the sponsor. Everyone sees the result. The government, the government falls. A bomb goes off, but no one can prove which country paid for it. This allows for the plausible deniability. It is highest art of spying, where you change history without signing your name. Okay, so we're gonna see how CIA, the first one, the master one, CIA, what are the architects of the global change, and when CIA was born. So CIA was born out of the fear and necessity after the World War II. America has defeated Hitler, but immediately faced a new, violent, terrifying enemy, the Soviet Union and the rise of the Cold War. So the President Harry Truman realized America was totally unprepared for new kind of the conflict. They needed a single group of the coordinate secrets. That's how in 1947 the CIA was formed, the America's first peacetime foreign intelligence services. Okay, so initially CIA was just a search desk, but in 1948 it was given a terrifying new power, the authority to run covert operations. This means they could actively influence and change the internal affairs of the other countries. This is more the CIA become the puppet master. So how they were trained? So to understand a CIA agent, you have to understand their training at the farm. It's the camp located in Virginia. It's highly secret, massive military reservation where agents learn tradecraft, the magic of the shadows, right? The surveillance detection drone. This is the agent's final exam. They were dropped into in a strange city and must use all their training to detect if they are being followed by professional trackers. It's the game of the paranoia that teaches them to notice every single tiny detail. The same at the two different corners. The person pretending to tie their shoe, the person reading a newspaper without turning the page. It's relentless, right? And the second one is survival, evasion, resistance, and escape. So we can call it SEER. This is where agents are exposed to brutality of interrogation. They are taught to stick to their cover story, their fake life, to avoid giving up real secrets even under extreme stress. It is designed to make them mentally unbreakable. So the classic spy job is human. The human intelligence is about getting secrets from a person. The agent known as a case officer is primarily a recruiter. The target is an asset, someone who already have access to the secrets. The most critical part of this job is convincing the asset to betray their country, their friends, their families. Slowly, the case officer is looking for the hook. We can summarize and the asset motivation with this simple acronym MIC. MICE. What it is? money, ideology, compromise, ego. So money, as we know, the simplest and the most common. They need to pay bills or they want a lavish lifestyle. Ideology. Yeah. So they believe the spice country is morally superior to their own. Compromise. They are being blackmailed, honey traps, and other threats, right? Ego. They feel ignored or undervalued by their own government and want to feel important, right? The case officer patiently builds their friendship first, listening to their problems for months before ever asking them to commit treason. It is slow psychological seduction, right? So, when was the CIA first turn in the history recorded? So it is the Operation Ajax. It is happened in Iran, 1953. So it's chances of blowback. So this was the first time CIA truly threw its weight around. Around 1953, the democratically elected Prime Minister Mohammad Mossadegh has committed a major crime in the eyes of the West. He nationalized Iran's oil, taking control back from the British. The UK spy agency MI6 was furious and wanted Mossadegh to rule. What? They could not do that. It alone. They turned it to CIA. The US was hesitant until Britain played the trump card of the era. They lied and claimed Mossadegh was failing under communist influence. The CIA agreed, launching Operation Tapajaks. They poured massive amounts of money into Iran. They paid agents to create chaos, bribed newspapers to spread fake news, making Mossadegh look incompetent, and hired mobs to riot in the streets of the Tehran. It worked. They overthrew the elected leader and installed the pro-Western king. Shah Pahlavi. The CIA has won a short-term political victory, but this single secret act created a deep, fostering anti-American hatred among the Iranian people. That anger grew under the Shah for decades and directly fueled the 1917 Islamic Revolution. This is the definition of the blowback: the unintended catastrophic consequences of the covert act. They won the battle but lost the country for good. So the third episode is Cold War Giants, Deception and Destruction. So it is who it is? Well, KGB, FSB. So the sword and shield of the party is nicknamed that. Like that. And across the Iron Curtain was the Soviet Union KGB Committee for State Security. Today, its main successor is FSB. The KGB was fundamentally different from the CIA. Well, CIA formed focused more on foreign intelligence. KGB was force of the total control, acting as a sword and shield of the Communist Party, both inside and outside the Soviet Union. Their history is soaked in the blood of the Great Purge, where they arrested, tortured, and killed political enemies. They were a domestic terror organization that also ran spies abroad. Mhm. So, what's their main tradecraft? The deep lie and the illegal. KGB specialized in deception and psychological warfare. Operation Trust. So, first one. This was the one of the most masterful lies in intelligence history from 1921 to 1927. Soviet intelligence created a massive, detailed, fake anti-Bolshevik resistance group called the Monarchist Union. The sole purpose was to lure real anti-Soviet enemies who had fled the country to get back home, believing that they are joining a powerful resistance. They were all captured and executed when they get into their country, right? Sorry guys, I have to adjust my mask. Sorry guys. So, the sole purpose lure anti-Soviet enemies to get them back in the country and torture them and murder them. So, this deception lasted for so long, it confused even the KGB agents. KGB agents and which are running it, right? And the second one is illegal program. This was the ultimate in the long game of espionage. KGB plays a deep cover sleeper agents in the foreign countries, primarily in the US. For years or for even the decades, these spies adopted fake identities, often stolen from the tech children, learned the culture perfectly and built entirely false lives, waiting for the card to activate. Their only goal was to be so boring and ordinary then that they became invisible, right? Yeah, they even stayed in the US or in the another countries for like 20, 30 years. That's it. And the third one is ultimate trap, the honey trap and the compromat. So it was the dirtiest, most ruthless KGB tactic was the honey trap. Female agents known as swallows and male agents known as robins were used to start romantic or sexual relationships with foreign diplomats, military officials, and businessmen. Their goal was never love. Never love. Their goal was to take secret photos or videos to gather compromising material, which is known as compromat. Starts with K. Once they have the compromat, the KGB would approach the target with a choice: cooperate with us, or we will expose you to your government, your family, and the world. It was a broad blackmail, exploiting human weakness, loneliness, desire, or ambition. In one tragic case, a French military strategist, Colonel Louis Gibault, was so ashamed and terrified after being caught in a honey trap that he chose to commit suicide rather than spy for the KGB. This shows the true deadly case of this target. And we gonna see another case from these agencies. This case file is Operation Cyclone. It's happened in Afghanistan. It's nicknamed as Frankenstein monster. This is the largest and most dangerous example of the throwback in the history. In late 1979, the Soviet invades Afghanistan. A simple question was asked by US: can we arm the Afghan resistance to suck the Soviets into Vietnamese quagmire? The CIA launched Operation Cyclone. Working with Pakistan, they funneled billions of dollars and thousands of tons of the weapons to Afghan rebels. Which are they? It's the Mujahideen. The game changer was the Stinger missile, a shoulder-fired weapon that could shoot down Soviet jets. It was a massive success. The Soviets were forced out in 1989, but the CIA made a critical short-term decision. They did not care about who they are arming. As long as they killed Soviets, they funneled money and weapons to most militant Islamic groups. The leaders of some of those groups would rather later include men like Osama bin Laden. A Pakistani official reporter warned a Pakistani official reportedly warned President George H. W. Bush, "You are creating a Frankenstein." The CIA won the Cold War, but armed the people who would launch the September 11 attacks. Uh-huh. The next one is MI6, the Silent Watcher and the Great Lie. It's a UK's secret surveillance service. So we can see their categorized like it's a C legacy. The first director, Mansfield Cumming, had a habit of signing his paper with just the letter C. This is where James Bond boss got his famous code name. The reality, however, is far from fiction. MI6 agents are analysts, deceivers, quite diplomats, not gunfight, not only gunfight. So we're gonna study their case file as well. So it's a Operation 4DD. It's happened in World War II. MI6 great success was biggest lie in the military history. Their greatest success was the biggest lie in the military history. Try to understand it. The cover for D-Day invasion. The goal was to convince Hitler that the real invasion would happen at past the Allies, not Normandy. They created a fake army, inflatable tanks, dummy landing craft, but the real genius was using intelligence. British codebreakers at Bletchley Park was reading the German secret message. This means MI6 could tell Hitler the lie, then read his private communications to see if he believed it. If Hitler moved his real forces to the wrong place, MI6 knew the deception was working and they controlled the enemy's mind. So it is. So what are the other motives of these secret agencies? So it's survival, vengeance, and the new economic war. So for example, we looked into the case of the Mossad. It's a long arm of the Israel. Israel Mossad operations with a simple mandate: national survival at all costs. The Mossad was founded in 1949, after the creation of the State of the Israel. Surrounded by enemies, its job to ensure the security of the Jewish state and the Jewish people worldwide. Uh, We can see their cases. The case files. First one is, which one's Gap? Yeah, it's Operation Wrath of God, the Relentless Hunt. This was a state-sponsored revenge mission. On September 1972, at Munich Olympics, a Palestinian terrorist group called Black September kidnapped and murdered 11 Israeli athletes and coaches. Prime Minister Golda Meir gave the order: find every person responsible for this massacre. Kill them. So Mossad agents were sent on a global hunt for lasted for years, led by a special unit called Caesarea. Caesarea, yeah. They used patience, surveillance, lethal forces across Europe and in the Middle East. They killed targets in Rome, Paris, Cyprus, Beirut. The mission sent an unmistakable message: if you attack the state of Israel, there is no place on earth you can hide. So Mossad trade cards, kidnapping a war criminal. Okay, so it's the one of the famous cases, right? The Mossad showed its unique reach by capturing one of the primary architects of the Holocaust, Adolf Eichmann, hiding in Argentina in 1960. This operation was done without Argentina's permission, a serious violation of its sovereignty. They had to use disguises, false passports, and silent movement to snatch Eichmann from the street, hold him in the secret safe house, then smuggle him back to the Israel for public trial. It was perfect, bold use of the covert extraction that brought justice to the wrong to the world stage. Okay, so the another one is it's not quite famous. You would not see them on the you would not them much relevant on the internet. So who it is? It's French intelligence, DGSE, and it's called the French bomb as well. So it's Directorate General for External Security. DGSE guiding principle is simple and pragmatic. Wherever necessity is a law. This means they will do whatever is required to protect France's national interests, especially its economic and diplomatic influence in its former African colonies. So we gonna see their case file as well. So Rainbow Warrior bombing. It happened in 1985. What it indicates? It indicates their ruthless pragmatism. Greenpeace was planning to protect French nuclear testing in the South Pacific. The French government decided this was a direct threat to vital national security policy. DGSE agents using false identities traveled to New Zealand and planted two bombs on the hull of the Greenpeace ship, the Rainbow Warrior. In the Auckland harbor, the ship was sunk and the photographer was killed. The act was successful in stopping the protest, but the international backlash was immense. After two agents were caught, the defense minister has to resign. GSE demonstrated that when it comes to national necessity, they will cross any line. So the another one is espionage specialist. It's MSS. Okay, so MSS is a method. It's a combination of the CIA and the FBI managing both foreign intelligence and domestic security. Their focus is not only on the Cold War conflict, it's on winning the economic future. So their new mission, MS is waging a silent, continuous war for technological and economic dominance. Their primary goal is to Western intellectual property and advanced technology as accelerate China development. The cost was to U.S. Economy alone, and it's billions of dollars annually. Just a sec, guys. I have some text coming in. Yeah. Okay. The another one is scope of the theft. This is state-sponsored continuous campaign. It involves military hacking units, corporate insiders, and academics recruited to spy. Oh, your game is so. Sorry, I was little distracted, guys. Okay, where are we? It's stay scope of the theft. This is state-sponsored continuous campaign. It involves military hacking units, corporate insiders, and academics was created to spy. They have targeted the deepest secrets, the design data for the F-35 fighter jet, trade secrets from the major auto companies, and critical AI algorithms. The corporate and the another one is the corporate insider. The modern MSS, Ministry State Security, spy is often an educated person and a trusted company position. They are the targeted because they have access. They are recruited through appeals to patriotism, large sums of money, or through pressure on the family still living in China. The attack comes not from a gunman but from a trusted insider with a USB drive. Oh, and the another one is raw. Our final giant is India's WAR, the Research and Analysis Wing. WAR was created in 1968 after India suffered military losses to China, and the leadership realized they desperately needed a dedicated foreign intelligence service to counter their powerful neighbor. So, what was their primary mission? So, WAR's entire focus is on Pakistan, counterterrorism, and military intelligence. In China, about what? Monitoring border conflicts and military movements. So we will see their first case. Raf's most defining success and was helping to create the country of Bangladesh in 1971. So a brutal civil war was raging in the East Pakistan, pushing millions of the refugees into India. So Prime Minister Indira Gandhi decided supporting a separate nation, the West way to stabilize that region. Rao was tasked with supporting the Bengali freedom fighters. It's called Mukti Vahini. Rao provided extensive training, weapons, and intelligence to the massive guerrilla force. By strengthening the rebels, Rao weakened Pakistani military from within, making India's eventual military intervention swift and decisive. Rao actively and successfully shaped the political map of Asia right now. And also Ra's not immune to the cycle of the blowback. In 1970 and 80, Ra provided weapons and training to the rebel group in Sri Lanka. So, just later, a side bomber from the same group assassinated Prime Minister Rajiv Gandhi in 1991. That service they created, the groups they trained and they armed, come back to kill that country's leader. It's powerful, dark lesson that unpredictable nature of this shadow war. Okay, so this is that. So we have seen these giants move their pieces, the CIA global reach, the KGB's ruthless deception, and the Mossad's surgical vengeance, and the MSS silent march toward the future dominance. The core reality is the world is an invisible chessboard. The people you see on the news, the presidents, the diplomats, are the rooks and bishops, easily visible on the board. The intelligence officer, the analyst, and the case officer, and the coder, and the illegals are the pawns and the queen. They are everywhere, moving in silence, making most decisive moves. They are unseen forces that settle wars, and the governments and steal future technology. They work, they do. Whether it is for good or for ill, it's done in the dark. It's always carry the risk of the blowback. The short term win of the covert action often creates the long term disaster that the next generation must face. So next time you hear a major story, a sudden political shift, a massive trade war on, or unexpected change in the global leadership, remember, there are some shadow worker in the cafe, which we discussed in the start of our podcast. Remember the silent players who wrote the script? Because what you see on the surface is almost never the whole story. Okay, guys, so we're gonna meet in the next episode really soon or really quick. It may be their operations and how the KGB operates and what about the geopolitical tensions all over the world. So have a good one, guys. It's already been so late. Thanks for supporting and don't forget to subscribe and like. Thank you.